Well, hello and welcome. This is Wendy. Today we are going to make an adorable bee shaker card. I have no idea what came over me, but I just completely got in the mood to make a card using a bee and really the colors. So we're going to use Delightful Dijon and Soft Suede and Soft Sky. And then I'm using the Shooting Star stamp set from the annual catalog that I feel like has been all too much ignored. We've got the layering circle dies and the shooting star or sliding star dies or framelits that go with the shooting star stamp set. I'm using crumb cake cardstock, Delightful Dijon cardstock. I've got some window sheets here, Whisper White and Soft Suede. And I'll share dimensions as we go along. And then, of course, I've just got my good old handy standbys. I've got a piece of scrap paper here. I'm using a Stamp-A-Majig, a blender pen. I've got some Post-it note tape, which is not sold by Stampin' Up. I've got some sequins that are not sold by Stampin' Up. And I'm using foam strips, which are sold by Stampin' Up and are freaking amazing. FYI, I love those foam strips. If you don't have any in your stamping arsenal, you have to have them. I mean, they are perfect for shaker cards, among many other things, but definitely shakers. So I have a little brain fart here, and I use that term in my house. So I started to tape the card down with it folded shut, and I thought, oh, that's not going to work, Wendy. So I'm using my Post-it note tape to mask off the rest or the back of my card. My card front is size 8.5 by 5.5, and then it's folded in half to make an A2 size card. I'm using soft suede ink to start out, and I'm going to stamp a background. So I cut out a lot of this because it's just very long and slow. So I didn't think you needed to see all of it, but I started it out in the beginning so that you could see it. In order to use the Stamp-A-Majig, you just slide that little plastic piece in place, butt it up next to that little black piece. You put your stamp on the clear acrylic block, stamp down, or the wood block, whatever you're using. Stamp down. You end up with an image on the clear plastic. You put the clear plastic on the paper wherever it is that you want to stamp it, just like I'm doing right here. So that's where I want the bee hive to go. You remove the clear plastic place and hold that little black piece in place with your dear life. And then you stamp. So simple. And it gets your image exactly where you want it. Now, there is a Misty tool out there, which I own, but I don't know if it's just something's wrong with me. I can't use the Misty tool to do this. It's like I don't know. To me, it's easier to use the Stamp-A-Majig. So I don't know. For me personally, the Misty tool doesn't work for doing this, creating a pattern. But you can see there I made a really awesome pattern. Everything's lined up really nice. And it's just a great background. So you could have stamped off once and then stamped the soft suede to kind of lighten that up, but I really wanted it to be bold and dark. Okay, so I'm going to use the little ring here from this Shooting Star slider framelit set, and I'm going to cut myself 2 rings out of the Delightful Dijon. Now, this obviously was created to create slider cards. But for me personally, I feel like this is like the best answer to prayers for for creating a shaker card, because you're left with this little ring that is absolutely the perfect size to just do some sort of little shaker piece on top of your card. It does make your card a little bit bulky. So there is that. And then I'm using the acetate sheet. We sell window sheets with from Stampin' Up. And I'm using the largest layering circle, and I'm going to run that through because I need 2 pieces of acetate for this, and you'll see why. So I've been asked lots of times, how do you mail stuff that's super bulky? Well, two things. First of all, I usually lay a piece of paper or a Post-it note over the front of the card to kind of protect the front of it. And then it costs extra postage. So when you are mailing something that's this thick, you're going to have to pay the additional surcharge. It's for right now it's 21 cents. I don't know if that's probably going to change because they change the price of stuff constantly at the post office. I feel like every 6 months they're changing the cost of things. And recently they went down. It was like 68 cents. It may still be. And then it's going to go back up. So if you buy some forever stamps, then you don't have to worry about if there's a price increase, FYI. I pretty much know all there is to know about shipping anything because I'm at the post office all the time. Okay, so I'm cleaning off my stamp here, and this is what I use when I'm doing my videos because it's just easier. I don't have a lot of space to do my videos. I use a little absorber cloth, and I love it. In the video here, it looks almost like I didn't get that stamped all the way, but I did. It's just the camera's having a hard time with the little lines. So now I'm going to use the plate of my ink pads, and what I've done is I pinched them together when they were closed in order to get some ink on this little open, I call it a palette. So if you leave, the cool thing about Stampin' Up! Ink pads is if you leave them open, then you kind of have this like painting palette to work from. So I'm using a blender pen today. And blender pens are one of my favorite tools depending on what I'm coloring. So you can see me there just wiping it off to clean it and then wiping it off before I go in and make a stroke into the beehive every once in a while. That's because I want varying degrees of darkness on my beehive. You can see that I'm starting on the left of the beehive and stroking and lifting to the right. I'm kind of doing a flicking motion or a really fast, like as I come up at the end, I'm lightening my touch. So I get this kind of soft feathered look at the end. Then I'm going to go through, and this is kind of odd. I'm sure it seems weird, but it's really cool. I'm going to go down the edge of this beehive straight down with a little bit of ink. And what that does is it's kind of going to create a highlight to the back of the beehive. So it gives the beehive more like of a round feel, like curve. And it's kind of hard to tell here, but I'm going to show you a little bit closer. Then I've got my soft sky ink. And I really wanted to add a little bit of color to the wings of this bumblebee. I stamped this bee in soft suede ink, and then I'm using the soft suede to make little stripes on him, and I used the Delightful Dijon for his head and a stripe. And same thing, I kind of left the highlight to the right of him. So I cut these out using the framelit set, and I love this framelit set because it cuts such a nice edge around the stamped images. So I'm just using my Post-it note tape again to hold these in place. I don't have the magnetic platform in where I do my video or my filming. And actually, recently I've used it less. I don't know why particularly. I just have. Sometimes I can get frustrated with the magnetic platform because the magnets are in different areas. So sometimes it'll pull my dies in a different direction and I have to move the paper around to get the die to go just right. So here you can see the dies are cut out and they're super, super, super cute. I just love them. I could just cut a whole bunch of these bees and beehives and look at them because they're so stinking cute. So I'm going to now add those to my shaker when it's finished. So the last bit of stamping that I need to do is the sentiment. Now this sentiment is super skinny and tiny, and I wanted to put it on a piece of Whisper White cardstock so that it would really stand out and pop, and I'm stamping it in the soft suede. I'm keeping my colors to soft suede and Delightful Dijon for the most part, except for the wings on that bee. And they're really a beautiful combination. This Delightful Dijon is something I was very resistant to when it first came out. And sadly, now it's going away. FYI, let me give you a little heads up. I do this every year. I start warning people every year this far in advance. And people always wait. Stampin' Up! Retires their ink colors. There's a group of ink colors that they retire every year. And this year, it's going to be the 2014, or I'm sorry, the 2015, the 2017 ink colors, which include Watermelon Wonder, Cucumber Crush. I'm getting my catalog so I can look at them all because I tend to forget. That's what you hear here. I'm trying to get my catalog out. Okay, I'm layering down my acetate sheets, you can see here, on top of my circles. So I'm going to do both of those and I'm going to let them sit for just a minute. Okay, here's what's going away. Cucumber Crush, Delightful Dijon, Mint Macaron, Tip Top Taupe, and Watermelon Wonder. All the ink colors, the re-inkers, the paper, any ribbon, anything that's that color will go away. So get them now. If you want them, if you want those colors, get them now because they're not going to go on sale, but they are going to retire. I shouldn't say they're not going to go on sale. I never know if they're going to go on sale. But what happens is the minute they go on that retiring list from Stampin' Up, they sell out within hours. I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. Literally last year, one of the re-inkers for the ink colors sold out within 2 hours. So if you want any of these colors, get them now. Don't wait because you may not end up getting them. And I tell people this every year, and every year I end up with a flood of emails where people are saying, I didn't know what happened. Now I can't get them. And that people are upset and wishing that they would have bought them. So there's my first warning. I'm going to be kind of throwing that warning out there to you guys multiple times over the next few weeks here. Okay. So there's that beautiful foam tape I told you about, and you see how perfectly that went around this circle. It's because I removed the release paper from the foam tape completely, and it made it go in this circle around this die perfectly with no issues. Okay, so I'm using some gold sequins from Neat and Tangled, and then I have these little brown sequins that I found at that little well, it's not a craft store. It's a little, like, I don't know, shop where they sell stuff. It's like a gift shop. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a gift shop near where I live, and they have this whole section of kind of really cheap crafty items, and one of the items they have there are bunches and bunches of sequins. So whenever I go in there, I just stock up on all these different color sequins. So that's why I've got a bunch of different colored sequins. You can also find those same sequins that they sell in that craft store on Amazon pretty cheap. So I'll link to that. I try really hard to link to all the products that are not Stampin' Up! Products over on my blog, and they're listed underneath the Stampin' Up! Products. Okay, so now I've created this super cute little shaker piece. And you could do anything with this little shaker piece. You could hang it from a string and add little stuff to it and make it some sort of a mobile. You could have it be a standalone little gift topper, which is a great idea. I should write that down. For Christmas, that would be super cute to have it glued to a package. There's lots of little things you could do with this. Okay, so I've got my little shaker glued in place, and I've used that Tombow multi-purpose glue because it is the strongest glue ever once it dries. It really sticks great. So I prefer it for projects that I would worry would fall apart. And then I'm going to glue my little piece down here, and I didn't put glue over on that right-hand side intentionally because I want to be able to slip my sentiments underneath the beehive. And if I put glue on the whole beehive, then I wouldn't have been able to slip those sentiments under there. But I wanted to get these in place before I added my sentiments. So I've got the little bee going down and then the little hive. And at first, the glue is a little resistant to sticking to that acetate sheet. So one of the things that I do is put a clear block on top when I need to. But first I wanted to measure out my little flags that I was going to add. And you can see there's no measurement. This is a 1/2 inch wide, and I just laid it across the top of there, and I laid a little bit at the end because I wanted to see how much of it I would want to stick underneath that beehive. and I wanted the end of the flag or banner to come off of the edge of the circle. This is a great composition or die. It's very appealing to the eye to have that circle kind of broken up. So you can see my beehive is sticking off the edge on one side, and then my banner piece is sticking off the edge on the other side. So it creates interest on this card to do that. So now I'm cutting the other end of this flag of my little die, or my little sentiment piece, and I'm gonna glue this on top of the soft suede piece, little banner piece. And that's it. That really finishes my card off, except I can never leave anything alone. I can't well enough, good. This is just not good enough. So I had to get some more sequins out and add a few sequins. So I got a little heavy-handed when I made this card the first time and put sequins like everywhere, and it kind of ruined the card, in my opinion. It didn't ruin it. I'm sure there's plenty of people that will still think it's cute, but it was too many for me. So I cut down on the sequinage here. I didn't go so crazy, but my very favorite little spot to have a sequin was right here at this little beehive part. So I tried really hard to find a sequin that was the right color of brown, kind of an orangey brown, and put a sequin there. And then I'm gonna add just two more, one down, one up above the little shaker window, and then one down at the bottom of the shaker window. So that's my card. It's fabulous. I just love how it turned out. That always sounds like I'm tooting my own horn. I don't mean it that way. I'm sorry. But when a card turns out really, really cute, I'm always super proud of it, because I have some epic fail cards too. So when an idea is in my head and I manage to get it out of my head and onto paper and it looks as cute as it did in my brain, it makes me so happy. Okay, you can purchase all of these products from me over on my Stampin' Up blog. It's at lovinstampin.com, and you just click the images to purchase them. And I give away free card kits and a fun free tutorial for $50 purchase or more. Plus you get free celebration items. If you want to see other videos from me, you can click on either one of the videos that you see here. If you click the little round circle that's my face, you'll subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you could give me a thumbs up, and I would really love that. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I talk to you soon. Bye-bye.